Ever since the release of Oppenheimer, heated discussions around Christopher Nolan's filmography have been going around the internet, with many people having different opinions about which Nolan movie is actually the best. Today, I'd like to give you my own opinion on the 5 best Nolan films. And don't forget, this is based on my taste and experience watching these films. Nolan has 12 movies, but I cannot discuss them all. Instead, I will make one honorable mention and then move to my top 5. Without further ado, let's get into it. My honorable mention that couldn't get into my top 5 is Inception. I agree Inception is an excellent movie if you go with the flow. I have watched it, I was mesmerized, it's intricate and ambitious. But I always had questions in my mind while watching this movie, and thinking whether I was getting it or not overwhelmed me and impacted my whole experience. I had all sorts of different questions. How did one dream influence the other? Since there was more than one person in the dreams, who was the one actually determining the outcome? Yet despite this, I enjoyed it incredibly, and that's why it gets an honorable mention. It's time for my number 5, The Prestige. Perhaps the most underrated Nolan movie ever. The one that never gets enough appreciation. This movie is an underappreciated gem of revenge thrills, scheming brilliance, and feuding foes. I love it because it leaves you wide-eyed with an open mouth, and magic games are a big part. The film also has an incredible twist, and I would even argue it's better than the one in Inception. It's also the most rewatchable Nolan movie ever. Even if you know the twist, the rewatch doesn't bore you one bit. Number 4 on my list is The Dark Knight. I'm constantly hitting you with the most unexpected movie. I know, this is perhaps the best Batman movie ever and has one of the greatest villains of all time. But I cannot help but feel this movie wouldn't reach its cult status if Heath Ledger were alive. Yes, his performance was incredible, but would his role have the same impact if he hadn't passed away? Number 3 on my list of best Nolan films is Oppenheimer. Maybe this is recency bias, but when I left the theater, I felt like I had just watched a masterpiece. I even sat for a few minutes to gather my thoughts because it was emotionally too overwhelming. I believe the questions this movie raises and the fact that it's a historical drama, and I'm a sucker for those, made this one of my favorite Nolan films ever. Now it's time for number 2, and it's Interstellar. This emotional roller coaster has heavenly visuals and an incredible soundtrack with intricate character dynamics. If you don't bawl your eyes out after watching this film, I would question whether you are human. It's one of the saddest movies I have ever watched and perfectly conveys emotions. As for my number 1, I will go with Memento. You were probably not expecting this, but this movie hit me on a personal level. Having a grandmother who didn't remember who I was at the height of her Alzheimer's was heartbreaking, so Memento has a special place in my heart. This movie is about a guy who doesn't remember anything recent that happened to him and leaves clues to remember, but he gets manipulated by those he thinks are helping him. He's looking for the murderer of his wife, but in the end, he has the most heartbreaking revelation. Memento is a masterpiece of human emotions, and I will love it forever. What is your favorite Nolan movie? Tell me in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share this video. Subscribe to Hometown Skeptic. I love you and see you soon.